Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today I will demonstrate you types of buttons in Android. I will develop the application like this in which I will add the button, I will add the image button. This is the switch, and whenever the switch is on, I will change the image over here, and as well as I will implement the toggle button to on off the bulb, as well as I will implement the checkbox. So whenever you choose any option, for example Hindi, English or Gujarati, then it will return you true or false depending upon your selection. And whenever you choose any radio button, then which option you have selected, that it will display in a text view. And whenever you click on clear option, then all the option will be cleared. As well as I will add the floating action button. So whenever this button is clicked, I will put the toast. So let's do the same thing practically. So first of all, you can just click on create new project. Here you can just click on empty activity, and then you can click on next. Here you can just give the name of your application. I'm just writing the name of my application is types of buttons demo. And here you can choose the language. I'm choosing the language that is Kotlin, and then you can click on finish. Once the Gradle build is done, you can just hide this project explorer, and then you can just click on activity main.xml. Here you can just click on show system user interface, and here you can just click on split. I don't want this inbuilt text view, so I'm simply removing this. Now I want to add the button. So let me add the button over here, and this is the simple button. Now whenever user click on this button, I want to give the toast. As well as I want the toggle button. So you can just click on button from the palette, and here you can choose the button that is toggle button, and you can simply move drag and drop toggle button over here. Now whenever this toggle button is clicked, I want to change the image. So definitely I need a image. So I have my image, that is the two image, one for the bulb on and another for the bulb off, that I already download from internet. So let me open that particular image. So this image is available in my desktop resource folder. This is the bulb on and bulb off. Let me copy this. So I'm simply copying these images, and you can paste into your Android project resource drawable folder. Here in a drawable folder, you can just right click and paste these two images. So these two images, that will be the bulb on and bulb off, will be available over here in the drawable folder. Now I want the image view. So whenever this button on is clicked, I want the on image, and whenever the off is there, I want the off image. So I want the another control, and that is image view. So you can just click on common, and here you can select the image view, and you can put the image view over here. Now what is the default image of your image view? So default image is bulb off. You can select it and you can click on OK. So this image will be available over here, but I want to define the width and height of this image. So this is my image view. Here you can just give the width, that is 200 dp, and the height, that is 200 dp. Now you can simply move this image over here, and you can simply connect to your toggle button, and you can simply resize this. Now I want another button, and that button is a image button. But in image button, I want the background, and that is Atmi University logo. So let me take the image button. So you can just click on button, and here you can select the button that is image button, and you can simply move, drag and drop the button over here. By default, the image background is IC launcher. You can simply select and you can click on OK. So this is the image button. Now in this image button also, I want the width and height. So I'm simply writing the width, that is for example 100 dp, and the height, that is 100 dp. So this is my simple, you can say, image button, but I want the background over here, that is the Atmi University logo. So you can download it from net also. I already downloaded the Atmi University logo. So here I have the AU logo. You can simply copy this and you can paste into your project drawable folder. So you can just right click and you can just click on paste and OK. So your AU logo will be pasted into this drawable folder. Once this logo is available, here you can just set instead of source compact. So I don't need this property. And instead of this, you can set the background. Background is @drawable/AU logo. So Atmi University logo will be available over here. Now I want to run this application, but whenever you run this, you will get an error. Why? Because there are 3 errors over here. By default, the layout is constraint layout. So you can just select your button and then you can click on infer constraint. Now, whenever user click on off, I want the off image, and whenever user click on on, I want the on image. I have both the image, right? But first you can simply run this application so you can check that it is working fine or not. So you can just run this particular application. Whenever you run this particular application, it will be launched into this emulator. See here, application is launched, but whenever user click on, the image is not changed. As well as I want the little bit larger image than this. So what we can do, simple, we can just click on image and then you can simply delete the constraint. I don't want the constraint. Now you can simply resize your image view and you can connect it to your toggle button. So let me increase the width and height of this image view. That is 200 dp is the width, height that is 200 dp. Now you can select this and you can click on infer constraint. So the image width is changed to 0 dp. You can make it here width is 200 dp and height is 200 dp. So this my image view is look good now. Whenever button is a click, based on the text available in my toggle, I want to change the image. So this is my toggle button. The ID is toggle button. You can move to your main activity.kotlin file. I want to write the code of the button first and then I want to write the code of the toggle button. So let me declare here variable b1 is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it to button and you can write here r.id.button. Whenever this button is clicked, so you can call the function button1.set on click listener, and here you can write the toast.make text. I want the toast in the current context. I want the text that is button is clicked, and I want this toast for length underscore long dot duration dot show. Now you can simply run this particular application. So what happened, whenever the button is clicked, you will get the toast that the button is clicked. So whenever you run this application and whenever you click on button, see here, I'm getting the message that button is clicked. Now, whenever the toggle button is clicked, for example, see here, on is there. Let me click off, on, off. So whenever it is on, I want to change the image. So let me write the code of the toggle button, that is variable tb is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it to toggle button r.id.toggle button. Now here we can write the code that is what toggle button dot set on click listener. If toggle button dot text is on, then I want to change the image. So here you can write the condition if toggle button dot text dot toString dot equals, if it is a on, then I want the on image. So I want the on image in the image view. So let me declare the variable iv is equal to find view by ID. Let me cast it to image view r.id.image view. Now if the text is on, then I want to change the image. So you can simply write here image view dot set image resource r.drawable.bulb on. So what happened, whenever the on is clicked, it means that whenever you click on toggle button and if the text is on, then on image of the bulb will be replaced into image view. And if it is else, it means that if it is off, then I want to change the image, and that is bulb off. At the same time, I want that this button, I want the margin top, that is 10 dp, right? So little bit margin is required over here. Now you can simply run this particular application and you will get the output into this emulator. See here, the margin effect is done. Now whenever you click on this button, see here, button is clicked. Now let me click on this, on, off, on, off, on, off. Now whenever user click on this logo, I want to give the toast that the Atmi University logo is clicked. So how to do that particular thing? It is very simple. The same code that you did in a button, the same code you can do with the image button. So it is very simple. You can write here variable ib is equal to find view by id. Now instead of button, I want to cast it into image button. r.id. You can get your image button. Whenever the image button is clicked, I want to give the toast that Atmiya University logo is clicked. So let me write here AU logo is clicked. Now you can simply run this particular application and you will get the output over here in the emulator. So whenever I click on this logo, see here, I'm getting the message AU logo is clicked. Let me click on, see, image is changed. Let me click on this button, the button is clicked. Now I want another control, and that is one is the floating action button and another one is the switch. So let me move to design. Here in this button, I want that the top is 20 dp. So it is a little bit down. Now I want the another button. The one button is, so you can just click on button and you can take the switch. Let me move drag and drop switch over here. Now whenever the switch is on, I want that the bulb is on. And whenever the switch is off, I want that the bulb is off. Now once you take the switch, you can just click on switch and then you can click on infer constraint. So what happened? Your switch will be set into this constraint layout. Now whenever you run this particular application, the effect will not be applied to this bulb. So whenever you run this, see here, whenever I click on switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, see bulb is not changed. But whenever I click on off, it is working fine. So what I need to do? Simple, I need to write the code on switch. So here you can just move to your main activity.kotlin file. Now I need to write the code for the switch. So it is very simple. Whenever you want to write the code of the switch, first you need to get the ID. So let me write here variable sv is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it to switch r.id.switch1. This switch1 is the ID of this switch. See here. This is the ID in XML. Now here you can write the method that is sv.set on click listener. So it means that whenever the switch is clicked, I want to check first that what is the text of switch. So let me set the text of this switch is sv.text is equal to, and that is bulb off. By default the text is bulb off. Now I want to check if sv.text dot to string dot equals is the text is bulb off. If the text is bulb off, then I want to make it on. So here we can write sv.text is equal to bulb on. At the same time, we can change the image view. So we can say that image view dot set image resource, and that is bulb on. If it is bulb on, then I want to make the off, right? So we can simply copy this and we can paste over here. Instead of this on, we can write here off, and instead of this on, we can write here off. Now we can run this particular application again. See here, bulb off. You can click here, bulb on, bulb off, bulb on, bulb off, bulb on, bulb off. And this is also working. See here, on, off, on, off, on, off. This is also working, that is AU logo is clicked. And this is the simple button, that is you can say button is clicked. Now I want the floating action button. But whenever you want the floating action button, you need the background. That which kind of background you need, that you can define into drawable. So you can just click on project, then you can just right click on drawable, new, and then you can select the vector asset. Here in vector asset, you can click on clip art. Here in clip art, you can choose any image. For example, if you want the feed button, then you can take. If you want the school button, then you can take. If you want the timer button, then you can take. Suppose I want the button that is sanitizer. So you can just select the sanitizer and then you can click on OK, right? And then you can change the name if it is required, and then you can click on next and you can click on finish. Now I want that sanitizer logo in my, that is floating action button. So you can just simply take the floating action button and you can simply move, drag and drop over here. See here, plus button is there, but I don't want the plus button, I want the sanitizer. So you can select this IC baseline sanitizer and then you can click on OK. Now what happens, see, this button, that is floating action button, having the logo of sanitizer. So you can just select this floating action button and then you can click on infer constraint. Whenever you click on infer constraint, what happens, see, just because this bulb image is connected to this sanitizer, the image size is changed, right? So now you can move to your image view and you can increase the width, that is 200, right? So it will be as it is now. Now you can do what? Whenever this sanitizer floating action button is clicked, I want the message that this button is clicked. So same way that I did for the button and image button, you can simply do the same thing for the floating action button. So you can write here variable FB is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it to floating action button r.id dot floating action button name FB dot set on click listener. Now here you can simply copy your toast text and here you can say that floating button is clicked. Now you can simply run this particular application and you will be able to see the effect into the emulator and the application is being launched. See here. Now whenever you click on this bulb on, see here, bulb is on. Now whenever you click on this floating button is clicked, is coming over here. Whenever you click on button is clicked, that is also coming here. And whenever you click on off, say it is working fine. But what happens, see here, image button is not available over here. It means that Atma University logo is not available. What is the problem? Very simple. You can do what? See here, after this image view, 125 space is there, right? So this is margin and 125. You can simply reduce this and you can make it here, for example, 30 dp, right? So this Atma University logo is now visible and you can simply run again your application. Now you will get the Atma University logo over here, right? And whenever you click on AU logo, you will get the message AU logo is clicked. At the same time, you can simply switch on off this bulb, as well as you can do here also. And as well as whenever you click on this button, it will say the message that the floating button is clicked. This is also working fine. Now I want the checkbox. It means that I want the skill, that is English, Hindi, Gujarati. So whenever you want the multiple selection, at that time you can use the checkbox. So let me move to my XML file. Here I want the checkbox. So I'm simply taking move, drag and drop over here. This is the checkbox number 1. This is the checkbox number 2. This is the checkbox number 3. So I'm taking 3 checkbox over here. Now I want the text view also. So whenever the checkbox is selected, I want the message over here that which checkbox is selected. So which checkbox is true. So in this text view, I want the message. So let me write here, no checkbox is selected. It means that by default there is no selection of the checkbox. As well as I want to change the text size, for example 20 sp, text style, for example bold, text color I want the has a 000, it means it is a black, right? So you can say that no checkbox is selected. Now whenever the checkbox is selected, I want the message over here that this checkbox is selected. So let me define this checkbox. So title is, this is English skill, this is Hindi skill, this is Gujarati skill, right? So command on the language, English, Hindi or Gujarati. Are you able to speak the language English, Hindi, Gujarati? If yes, then you can simply select this. And whenever you select this, I want the message over here. Now you can simply click on English and then you can click on infer constraint. Whenever you click on infer constraint, see here all the controls are looking fine. Now you can simply run this particular application. See here, the application is being launched. Now whenever you click on English, Hindi or Gujarati, no checkbox is selected, message is coming. Why? Because this is the default text, right? But whenever user click on English, I want the message that the English is selected, right? So what we can do? Very simple. We need to write the code on checkbox. So now we can move to our main activity.kotlin file. Here we can write the code for the checkbox. So first we need the ID of the checkbox. So I'm writing here cb1 is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it to checkbox r.id.checkbox. The same time I need the ID of checkbox 2 and checkbox 3. So this is the checkbox 1, 2 and 3. Whenever the checkbox 1 is clicked, so I'm calling the function cb1.setOnClickListener. Whenever the checkbox is clicked, I want to get the value. So I'm writing here variable str is equal to, here we can write English is equal to dollar checkbox 1 dot is checked. If it is checked, then it will return true. If it is not checked, then it will return false. Now here we can write /n and we can simply copy this. English is equal to this, Hindi is equal to, and that value coming from checkbox number 2. So we can write here cb2. Let me write /n again. Let me paste. This is Gujarati is equal to. Now you can simply copy this checkbox 1, 2 and 3. I want the same effect on each selection of each checkbox, right? So this is cb1, cb2, this is cb3. This is checkbox number 3. This is checkbox number 3. Now you can simply save this and you can run this particular application. Whenever you run this, the application will launch again into emulator. Now I'm selecting the English, but message is not coming. Why? Because I need to set this string into text view. So I need the text view also. So this is my text view and text view ID is a text view. So I need to initialize the variable TV is equal to find view by ID text view. And here we can write r.id.textView. Now here we can write tv.setText str. The same line we can write over here and the same line we can write over here. Now we can save this and we can compile our application again. Now whenever you launch this, you will get the output over here. See here. For example, let me click on English. See here, Gujarati, Hindi. But it is not looking good. Why? Because see here, this checkbox, this text view is connected to this image view, right? I need this text view below this. So you can simply select your text view and then you can click on clear all constraint. Yes, I want to clear the constraint. Then you can simply connect this your text view with the checkbox, right? And then you can simply move, drag and drop this if it is required, and then you can click on infer constraint. Now whenever you run this particular application, you will get the proper output. So whenever the application is run, you can check here. See, whenever I click on English, Hindi and Gujarati, it is saying that it is selected, right? Hindi is false, English is false. What happened earlier? Earlier, my this text view was connected to this image view. But instead what I did, I connect my this text view with this checkbox. So it will not overlap that particular control. That is the reason why I did this. Now I want the radio button. So we can write the radio button in a radio group. It means that I can select only one item from the group at a time. So let me select over here, and that is in a button radio group is available. So you can simply move, drag and drop radio group over here, and then you can simply resize the radio group. So this is my radio group, and here in radio group you can give the width, for example 200 dp, height 200 dp, right? And this is my no checkbox is selected. Let me write here /n so it looks good. No checkbox is selected. This is my radio group. Now in this radio group, I want the radio button. So let me take the radio button 1, another radio button that is 2, another radio button that is 3. I put all this radio button inside this radio group. It means that I can select only one radio button at a time. Now you can select your radio group and you can change the height if it is required. 170, let me make it 150, it is fine. So this is one group. Now you can connect this your radio group with this image view. So what happened here in radio group, we can give the margin, and that is margin top, for example 40 dp. So 40 space is available over here, right? Now I want to decrease the width also. For example, 150 dp is fine. Now let me define the radio button title. So radio button, one radio button is Java, another radio button is Kotlin, and third radio button is C++. So I can decrease the width of this radio group also. So let me decrease the width, that is 100 dp. So now this is my, you can say that MCQ, it means that I can select only one, and this is MSQ, it means that multiple selection, I can select multiple from this list. Now I want to put the infer constraint. So now you can select your radio group and then you can click on infer constraint. So what happens? See, this look fine. Now you can simply run this. Now what is the advantage over here? I can select only one option from here. See, I can select only Java, Kotlin or CPP. But here you can select any option, that is English, Hindi and Gujarati. All the option you can select over here. But here you can select only one option. Now whatever the option you have selected that I want in the text view over here, it means that you have selected which option that I want in the text view below this. So I need another control, and that is text view. So let me click on common. Here you can select the text view and you can simply move, drag and drop this text view over here. Now you can connect this text view with this group. Now you can simply resize this particular text view, and here in the text view you can simply write the text, that is choose an option, as well as I want the text style, that is bold, text color, that is black, and the text size, that is 20 sp. So I'm asking to the user that choose an option. So whenever the user click any option, I want to change this, that you have selected Java, Kotlin or CPP, and if none option is selected, then I want the message over here that the choose an option. So what we can do? Very simple. We can move to our main activity.kotlin file, and now we can write the code for the radio button. So this is my text view number 2, and my radio Group name is RadioGroup. So let me move to my Kotlin activity coding file. Now here we can write that variable TextView2 is equal to find view by ID TextView r.id.textview2. I need the radio group, so I'm writing here variable rg is equal to find view by ID. Here we can cast it into radio group. So we can write here r.id.radio group. Now whenever the radio group is selected, it means that which button is clicked, that is written by the radio group. So here we can call the function that is rg.set on checked change listener. Now which radio button is clicked, that you can get using this checked ID. So here we can write that variable rb is equal to find view by ID. You can cast it into radio button and you can pass checked ID. So what happened? If user has selected the option Java, then this RB has the option that is Java. If user has selected the option Kotlin, then this RB has the value that is Kotlin. Now here we can simply write tv2.setText, and here we can say that RB dot, that is radio button dot text dot to string is selected. So if Java is selected, then you will get the message Java is selected, and if Kotlin is selected, then you will get the message Kotlin is selected. But if none option is selected, then we can write the condition over here. If RB not equal to null, then set the text over here, right? So now you can simply run this particular application and you will get the output over here. Now what is the wonderful benefit? The wonderful benefit is if any radio button is clicked, see here, Java, it says that Java is clicked, Kotlin is selected, CPP is selected, and here you can select all the checkbox, and here you can get the message that is Kotlin is selected, Java is selected. But what happens, see, once you select the option, now you cannot deselect this, right? So I want to enable the functionality is what? I want to clear all this option. So is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And for that, we can take one more button. So let me take the button over here and let me move, drag and drop the button over here. Now we can connect this button with this radio group, and then we can simply move, drag and drop this button. Now whenever this button is clicked, I want to clear all this option and I want to put the message over here that choose an option. So let me click on infer constraint first. Then this button, that is clear option. So if you write /n, then you will get the message like this, that is clear option. Now whenever this button is clicked, I want to clear all this option. So this is button number 2. Whenever this button 2 is clicked, I want to clear all the option. So you can write here variable b2 is equal to find view by ID. Here you can cast it to button r.id.button number 2. And you can call the function button2.set on click listener. And here you can simply write rg.clearCheck. As well as we can write TextView2.setText, and that is choose an option. Now you can simply run this particular application and you will get the output over here. Now you can simply check. See, Java is selected, Kotlin is selected, CPP is selected, English is true, Hindi is true, right? But whenever you click on clear option, see here, choose an option, all the options are deselected. Java is selected. Clear option, on, off, on, off. This is sanitizer button, and this is the image button of Atmi University logo. AU logo is clicked, but I don't want overlap over here, right, in this text. So what we can do, we can move to our activity main.xml file. Here this text view is there. We can select this text view and we can click on clear all constraint. Then we can click on yes. Then we can simply select this text view and we can simply drag and drop over here. And then we can again click on infer constraint. Now it looks good. Now I want the last button which occupies the full width. So let me take one more button over here. And you can simply select this button and you can set the width that is match parent. So it will occupy the full width. Here you can give the title that is full width button. And whenever user click on this button, you can also put the toast if it is required. Now you can simply click on infer constraint and then you can simply rerun this particular application. Now whenever you rerun this particular application, again you will get the output over here, and the output is what? See here, it's so wonderful. Whenever you click on this bulb on, bulb off, bulb on, bulb off, you can select here option English, Hindi, Gujarati, all are true, Gujarati false, Hindi false. Kotlin is selected, Java is selected, CPP is selected, clear the option, choose an option. Kotlin is selected, clear option. And here you can click on AU logo is clicked. So this is the way you can implement the types of buttons in Android Kotlin. So that's it from my side. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.